Janie Barnett. Elegant. She's just incredible. When I heard her singing live a few weeks ago, it just sent me. It just sent me. And the new CD, You See This River, Janie Barnett and Blue Room. We're going to hear excerpts, and we're going to talk to Janie in a minute. But as I was telling Janie, welcome to Preston Pearson, my great engineer, by the way. Thank you, Preston.
Thank you.
Man, a few words, silence is golden. No, he has a lot to say. But I was in sort of a blue funk, to use the blue reference, on Sunday, and so many things were going wrong, and I put on Janie's CD, and it completely and utterly changed my mood, and I had to just call her and tell her. And it
made my day.
It made mine.
Yeah.
So there you go. But
and it turns out that blue, people think of blue as a hard, cold color, but it turns out that blue is a warm tone and a warm color. And if you surround yourself with blue in some form, whether it's sounds or colors, you are soothed into a creative state.
Well,
hence the Blue Room.
Hence the Blue Room, which we will talk about. It totally worked for me, and I do love blue colors and shades and the blues and your Blue Room. By the way, I always talk about this in many, many of my shows. The Brazilians have this word soldage, I think, and it's sort of a combination of melancholy and bliss, because I feel that when you have a song that's melancholy, and some of your songs are very filled with longing and emotion, that it can be euphoric or blissful in a melancholy way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do you agree, Janie?
Yes, you're right. And you used the word longing. I once heard I had been trying to pin this emotion down, this state, for years, and then I heard Daniel Day-Lewis say that he thought nostalgia was a primal emotion. It's
Really?
primal, that we're all born with that sense of nostalgia, of longing. And I think that's what you're talking about. The longing can be bittersweet, it can be painful, and it can be a wonderful thing. So that state where you've just got this sort of wonderful ache,
well,
this is what,
I totally understand what you're saying, and that's why I resonate with your music so much. I mean, it's not all, angst and longing, of course, but some of it is just your harmonies, your just the way you write, and let's just give some of your credits here, because you've got about 1,000, such interesting background. You're from Virginia, right? Virginia born, and you've performed and recorded with people like Linda Ronstadt, Bonnie Raitt, Ricky Lee Jones, Kate Taylor, David Johansen, Celine Dion. I mean, the list goes on. And you've got a whole folk festival bluegrass background, which is where it kind of started, right?
Yes.
And that, it's very earthy and visceral, and I just resonate with that particular kind of music to begin with. The mandolins, the guitars, the fiddles. There's something really special about that.
Yeah.
Were you always drawn to that?
Well, yes, and I mean, I came up like many musicians, listening to a lot of different kinds of music, but living in Virginia, all the festivals were easy access, and we had a club called the Birchmere in Virginia, where you could see all the artists, cellar door, all the folk and the early singer-songwriters of that time. And what I did was I learned from that, and I grew, but then I ran from it. And I went to New York, and I just went for all that to exercise my skills in the studio, pop music. And then I sort of discovered the in-between, artists like Ricky Lee, who really had her roots. She brought her roots out into new music. So eventually I came back to all of these beautiful stringed instruments and all the harmonies, and reminded myself that this was where my roots were, and my love and what it, made me all tingly. Yeah.
And did you study formally, or did you just listen and learn on your own? Or?
I came from a family where we got our piano lessons when we were 6, and I'm the one it stuck to. Yeah. And so I always had an instrument to play. I always sang from a really early age. Played my first coffee house when I was 11, and
in Virginia.
In Virginia, yeah, at United Community Ministries, where they had a little folk coffee house, and you played, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and even some Joni Mitchell, and So it was early training, and then a little bit of time at music school aside from all my music lessons. And then I learned on the job.
Wow. So you knew that this was for you, kind of.
Yes. It's what people say about a lot of professions. There are certain things that get you by the throat and they don't let go. And it's like someone will say,
literally, this was the throat.
Yeah, right. They'll say, if you can, it's going to break your heart. If you can do anything else, do it. And then you answer that question. I can't do anything else.
Well, and ironically, some of it is filled with heartbreak is in your voice and melody and harmony, and that's what people want to feel. Otherwise, we're just little robotic clones.
Well, and that's why art exists, to sort of give the voice, not to get into the cliche, but it gives voice to everyone's universal experience.
It's interesting that you mentioned Joni Mitchell, Ricky Lee. I heard little elements when I was listening to you, just peripherally, of Ricky Lee Jones, Jane Seabury a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit Joni.
Jane is wonderful.
Another Jane and Janie. So let's hear something, because enough talking, So this is the cut from your album, You See This River, Janie Barnett and Blue Room, You See This River. And this is the cut that actually turned my mood around. So I feel really good about playing this first. And so this is cut number 2, Preston, Better Times Are Coming. And this was sort of based on the Stephen Foster Civil War song.
I found the song that the McGarrah Girls had covered, and it seemed like the perfect time for all of us to hear some of this song again. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll hear
there
the CD.
Voices of hope that are born on the air, and our land will be free from the clouds of despair. For the brave and the true to battle have gone. In good times, good times, good times are now coming on. You're alone in the gnarly apartment above the old Marconi butcher, and fine wines of love, the drunk cop on the top floors, passed out at last. So good times, good times, good times are coming to pass. Then a blue innuendo, a stranger on Second Avenue touches your hand and she beckons you some kind of grace at the crook of your elbow. She tells you you're alright, you know. Businessman's
Stunning. Stunning. I could listen to this song for hours and hours. It just gives me the chills. I just really
well, that fiddler gives me the chills, I must say. Yeah.
That's Carmela Ramsey.
Carmela, yes. Carmela is the real deal. She's from West Virginia, the real deal fiddler. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely stunning. I don't know, how do you, this is one of the questions I like to ask musicians. Of course, the creative process is mystical, but do you like to write at a certain time of day and a certain place?
You know, this may surprise you, but I often write with the TV on.
Really? Interesting.
Because it's something I found myself doing, to have some other activity in the room that means you're not too hyper-focused on the work and you're not trying too hard. So with the sound down, sometimes it's the Yankees. But so I usually write at night. And there was a period of a few years that I think all writers of any kind can relate to. So I used to write in cafes a lot, with the little espresso by my side. Now I just like to plant myself on my couch. And once in a while, like when my kid was little, I used to write in my head while I'm from the subway walking to pick her up. You seize any moment. So as time goes on in your life, you figure out that you don't have to have the perfect environment to catch an idea out of the air.
Don't have to have the perfect angle at the perfect table,
exactly.
the perfect window.
The perfect pen. Yeah.
Although sometimes it does bring you luck, right?
Yes.
But if you had it in your head, would you write it down or just memorize it? Or
it depends on the period. I will say this, that when I was a teenager and studying poetry, I was told about a poet named Franny Howe. My writing teacher told me that, and she had 5 kids, I think. And he said she was asked why her poems were so short. And she said, well, I figured out I can only memorize 16 lines at a time. So that tells you.
That's right.
You do what you have to do to make it work.
Sonnet would work.
Right.
Or limerick.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, your choice of words, something like this, then a blue innuendo, a stranger on 2nd Avenue touches your hand and beckons you some kind of grace at the crook of your elbow. That might take me about 4 years to figure something like that out. I mean,
I got to tell you, that verse came very quickly. Yeah,
so
I just
amazing.
saw it. I saw it in my head. It's not always the case with me, but that verse came quickly. I saw the image of, some kind of angel coming to help us in this time. Yeah.
So fascinating to hear how that creative process works, So now, tell us about Blue Room.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collaborative. It's a space.
Yeah, I had an idea, and it was really the musicians I'm working with now. Most of them I've known for decades, and we've worked together in a variety of ways. I knew I wanted to bring so many people in that I cherished in my musical life, but I also knew that they wouldn't always be the same musicians because not everyone is available at the same time. So the idea came to me that I would just create, whether it's a metaphysical space or a real space, for people to step in when they could to collaborate in one way or another, whether it was my songs or their songs or in any way. So the Blue Room, again, I sort of discovered what the idea of the color blue, I was always drawn to it, and then I discovered that it's considered a creative color, a warm color, that can soothe you and stimulate the creative process. So this was the idea that I'm ready to welcome in anyone who's ready to collaborate into the Blue Room. Yeah.
And is that a specific room? Is there an actual room?
There is. It's not the room where we make music. It's my room at Berkeley where I teach.
That's right. You teach at Berkeley.
And I painted the room blue, and I made it a creative space for my students. And then that was part of the process of realizing that something about this works.
How interesting.
This color and this environment. We're always talking about, artists, we don't care about our environment. We're just, we could be in a dumpster, But turns out it's not actually true. That your environment can stimulate, all those endorphins, all the hormones, all the thought, the dreaming, all of that.
I wish you would tap on the shoulders of some of the hospitals, because
that's right.
The walls. I mean, what is the problem there?
They should never be white.
Or beige.
There should be color. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go paint them and play music. Well, that's a beautiful concept. And what do you enjoy teaching as well as performing?
I do. I started teaching when I was in high school, teaching other kids. But I will say that there was a certain point when I started teaching the songwriting aspect, and everything opened up for me, because then you're really reaching into people's process in a bigger way, and you're tapping into what they care about, and you're trying to help them find what they care about. And then my teaching life became really meaningful. So,
and do you commute back and forth?
I do.
That's in Boston, right?
Yes, I go every Monday morning, and I come back every Tuesday night. So I cram in a lot of mentoring into 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, the singer-songwriters up there.
So is it all a singer? I mean, I read a couple of the courses are things like sight reading techniques and advanced vocal ensembles.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So
and I do the sight reading class because I had so many years in the session business that they asked me to come and do that. That was one of the things they needed from me. And what they also needed was mentoring the singer-songwriters and teaching the new freshmen how to work with a band, how to talk to a band, how to notate for a band. And
so that's so interesting, because you think of Berkeley like Juilliard, as very formal and classical harmony.
No,
it's
not at all.
At all,
not
right?
at all. In fact, the slogan at Berkeley for a while was nothing conservatory about it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
So we get a lot of rockers, we get a lot of singer-songwriters, we get everybody, which is why it's such a wonderful place now. It's really expanded and
phenomenal.
And they get in on their raw talent, but they don't always know anything as far as notation or understanding how to work with other musicians. So
absolutely. Wow. So you've touched people in very logical, pragmatic ways as well as emotional ways.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's play another tune from your CD. I will forego Stephen Foster because time is limited, so we're going to concentrate on Janie. So sorry, Stephen Foster. We love you, but we're going to concentrate on Janie. So Preston, we're going to play another from the CD. This is number 5, called Sweet Thursday. And it's a Sweet Tuesday here that we're playing Sweet Thursday. And I read that this is sort of a homage to Neil Young.
So there were 2 inspirations. There's Neil Young's Harvest Moon, that record.
Yes.
Was really wonderful to me. I don't love everything that Neil has ever done. When he gets a little crazy, it's too crazy for me. But that record was one of those magical sort of vibe records that you can love. I was trying to capture some of that lilting feeling of that song. And Sweet Thursday is one of my favorite novels by Steinbeck, and I've been trying for 20 years to write a lyric that captured some of that storytelling. So finally put it together.
You did it.
Yeah.
You captured it.
Yes.
Okay, so here's Janie Barnett's Sweet Thursday.
Just me today. Don't slip away till we hear the say, 'cause it could go either way. I'm gonna be where you are. I bring a moon in every star, in that sweater from the back of your car. On a sweet Thursday, we could sway in a mandolin play. On a sweet Thursday, no love don't conquer much, it's true, but it could bring some comfort to this Thursday. Did you know it wouldn't matter? All that capital spent on a whole lot of nothing, it just doesn't matter. On a sweet Thursday, we could say in a mandolin play. On a sweet Thursday, no love don't conquer much, it's true, but it could bring some We could sing, we could say, and the mandolin play. Sweet Thursday, now that don't come, okay, much it's true that it could bring some comfort to this.
That's the fabulous Janie Barnett and her CD, You See This River, Janie Barnett and Blue Room. And, God, let's mention some of these great musicians. Robin Bateau, violin and mandolin. Sammy Marandino, drums. Larry Saltzman, banjo, guitar. Michael Golub, guitar. I love this lyric. I come to be where you are. I bring a moon. I bring a star, and that sweater from the back of your car. It's such a great juxtaposition of simple and deep, and identifiable images, but also really some pretty wonderful thoughts. And that is a great, great double tribute to Steinbeck. And
I hope so.
Yeah.
We're taught
Neil
as
Young.
writers, well, you know this, to get as specific as you can. Sometimes you grab that image from your past, and it's just the perfect image.
It's the
to
perfect
just,
thing. And, of course, I love the moon anyway. So
Right. There you go, yes.
Well, Janie, I know you brought your guitar. So why don't we get the guitar out, this beautiful Gibson guitar of yours.
This is my Gibson 1957. I know you covered it, my friend. My 57 country western.
Oh.
You're the second person. We had somebody yesterday, and then we had somebody last week. You're the third to bring a new guitar and play.
Really?
Yeah. You're like the third guitarist in this movie.
It's nice to mix it up a little.
It
and I
is.
wanted to bring it
It is.
because this song is one of my newest songs. And am I going to be close enough to this mic?
Yeah. Let's see. Let me.
I'll talk while you.
Get you over.
And this is a new song. When you're a writer, no matter what kind of writing, everybody in your life thinks this song is about them. So I'm just going to leave that out in the air that, it could or could not be anybody who's listening. But I think it's, I wanted to play it because it is under the guise of a love song, but it's really about this, what I think one of the things that has come of the times that we are living in here in the United States, where so much craziness is happening, and sometimes you just want to seize the moment and just have a little joy in the moment and not miss an opportunity, because who knows what tomorrow's going to bring. Not to doomsday, but so this is something fruity. Are we good? I'm far away from that, but hope for the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just project.
Okay.
All right. Something fruity in a glass. Then I said I count on you. If the smart ass at that table tries to heckle me, I'm too smart to feel this way. Then you said I got your back. You don't know it yet, but Fruity gets my loyalty. And you said stay, but I didn't stay. think that I just find you on some other day. You said stay. Lightning blew across the room. Could be it was you who was the smart one. I've been out a lot at night. There's a trail of bobby pins scattered in flight. I don't even get why. All this time we never met, and the white knight thing so dumb. And I pay my debts so by myself. You don't know it yet, but people find me interesting. You said stay, and I didn't stay. Did I think that I might find you some other way? You said stay, 'cause lightning blew across the room. Could be it was you who was the smart one. I'm chewing lemon right off the fruit, chewing and swinging on the next night's bar stool. I've been asleep, but this junk's woke me up. You woke me up. You woke me up. You woke me up.
Whoa. Bravo.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the lyrics. Oh my God, the voice.
Thank
The
you so
flight
much.
of, no, the trail, the bobby pin.
Yes.
What is that line?
There's a trail of bobby pins
In
scattered
flight.
in flight.
What a line. I mean, there's so many great, beautiful, I love the suspense, the silence, the harmony.
I gotta say, I think a lot of gals can relate to the story. I'd like to know if the men can relate to it.
No comment.
Okay.
Beautiful. How long does it take you to write that song?
That first verse and chorus came quickly, and then I took a bunch of weeks to finish
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Wow. So
I sort of mulled it over. Sometimes you get a little bit out. I mean, I remember hearing James Taylor say he tries to get as much out in the first hit as he can, because after that it's work.
yeah.
But you walk around and you play it in your head, and it comes eventually. Yeah.
And then, of course, again, the problem of the Sagittarian, like so many options of which way to phrase it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
songwriting, just it's a mystery because
Well, you tinker just like any other creative process.
Wow.
Just like I think just like a scientist would tinker with an experiment.
And your
I don't
daughter
think it's
is
so
a
different.
scientist,
Yes,
right?
yes. I think you got to sit with something and mull it over. Hopefully, you come to a conclusion.
Yeah, well, and it's got to be right for you, obviously, and I mean, I guess there's a fine line between satisfying you and satisfying an audience.
Yes, yes. I mean, I have this discussion with my students all the time, because a lot of writers now
Right.
like to be confusing.
Uh-huh.
They like it to be vague and, kind of mysterious. And I'm always asking them, this is what I think you mean by that line. Is that what you mean? Because if it isn't, you might want to think twice. You might want to reconsider. Yeah.
Don't think twice. It's all right. Wow, that's a very interesting point. I mean, if somebody doesn't understand it, not that that's a problem. There's many interpretations, but still.
Well,
you don't
right.
want it
I
too
mean, I
big.
don't understand Jackson Pollock for the like of me. I've tried my whole life too, and I don't get it. So, so what do I know?
What do I know? I don't know either. But, well, Janie, that was absolutely beautiful, and the title is
Something fruity.
Uh-huh. It's great. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I read a couple of, I don't like to read reviews very much, but a couple of things that were said about you I do like, particularly Cliff Eberhardt. Mm-hmm. It's a sit down on the sofa and listen from beginning to end album. The songs and the fabulous production intertwine with seductive consistency. He wrote about this CD.
Yes, I much appreciated that observation.
And Kenny White says, Janie Barnett turns the bumps, bruises, and joys of life into evocative and relatable songs and makes it sound easy, which ain't easy. So true. That's so true. Man.
Well, and those are two iconic artists for me, so
yes,
I'm honored they had something to say.
It's JanieBarnett.com. Beautiful website, very, very neat and chock full of stuff, but very easy to navigate and really wonderful website. God, you've also done a lot of commercials and jingle work.
Yes.
As a singer or as a musician or both?
Primarily as a singer. When I moved to New York, a lot of my friends from New England had started working in that realm. And as my friend Robin Bateau said, who has had more record deals than anybody I know, he never would have imagined that the jingle business would be so refreshing because yes means yes and no means no. You come in, you do the work, you exercise your skills, and you leave.
And you get paid.
And you get paid, right. So for a lot of us, the jingle business was rewarding
Really
work
wonderful.
because you're working with talented, skilled musicians, and then it pays for your indulgences.
Yeah, like guitar.
And college for your kid.
That's right.
Right.
Nestle's, Sprite, Pizza Hut,
Yeah.
the Oxygen Network, Diet Coke, Martha Stewart. Oh, my God, the list goes on and on. But let's just say a couple of things coming up that are you're performing July 29th?
Well, I'm going down to my hometown in Virginia to do a house concert. That's this Saturday. I'm going to be doing a house concert.
Oh,
yes,
nice.
yes.
So it's so funny because you said the series is run by an old friend of yours, Lisa
Yes.
Cherkasky, and it says, I love your little comments. It says you've got to check out her sandwich blog, www.midnightsnack.com. I love that.
Lisa is a beautiful writer and a chef and a food stylist. Yeah, she's my oldest friend.
So great. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a great show.
Yes, yes.
And I know you do a lot of other radio shows and you did a lot of Rockwood shows.
Yes, and in the
in New
fall
York.
I'm sure we'll play Rockwood again. There's another venue where I'm talking to, which shall remain nameless, but
Okay.
a bigger venue. Oh, not that I don't love Rockwood. It's a fantastic club. Ken runs. It's always a great club that's run by a musician. But we
This
have a
is
bigger
bigger.
venue that we're looking at for
Great.
Stage 1 or stage 2? Stage
2 and 3.
Two and three.
Yes,
stages,
yes, yes.
Wow. Well, another. The Real Paper in Brooklyn, I think, said your work is like floating like jewels across a shimmering sea,
Yes.
and that's an interesting water image because your music sounds very fluid to me. I feel like I'm floating down a river.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe an ocean or a raft. I
Yes.
don't know. But it's very mellifluous, I guess I would say.
Water is a big image in I think a lot of artists' lives.
Do you like the water?
Yeah, it just means so many things to us. Yeah.
So beautiful. Well, let's play a little piece of. We have little time and much music. But we're going to play. Where is my music sheet? Okay, here we go. Let's play a little piece of. Which one? You choose, Janie. Part of Buy That Thing or Walk It Out to You?
I think Walk It Out to You. Yeah.
Okay, let's play a little piece of. That's cut number 7 because this goes full circle. We were talking about longing at the
Yes,
beginning,
yes.
and this is kind of like a longing that persists. So we'll hear a little bit of Walk It Out to You. Janie Barnett, You See This River.
Some days I just lay around in bed. I know you've had my number from the start, long before the ruins in my head. I've been told the pain is meant to teach. Bristle half the lies sounding true. Drop to water just outside your reach. The junk inside my head is rotted through. So I'm walking out to you. Rotted through. So I'm walking out to you. I can't drive the car this late at night, but I don't trust my eyes to see the door. It's not the years, it's something that ain't right. Gather up my heart that's on the floor.
Before I become a puddle, because this is so emotional and beautiful. Janie Barnett, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's been an honor, Mia. You are a great person to talk to. Yep.
Ditto. It's just a treat to have you here. Thank you. Your music is just gorgeous. And this is from the CD, You See This River, Janie Barnett. We'll keep listening to you. I'll keep listening to you. And keep listening to Mia's World, City World Radio Network. And we're going to go out with Walk It Out to You. Janie Barnett, thank you. Thank you, Mia.
Pouring something strong, not strong enough. Flipping through the pages of the book. Photographs occurred in a sneak another look. Gonna sneak another look. Gonna sneak another look.